Restaurateur Rohan has been busy during the holiday rush as local residents celebrate the end of year among friends and family. However, he's expecting operational costs to rise further next year after an additional 1% GST increase comes into effect.
Food and beverage space in Singapore is quite competitive, to be honest, and to capture a cost of 1% is really difficult on the books. So we try to be adaptive to the market. We have been quite innovative in our approach. We've tied up long-term contracts with all our suppliers, which gives us reduced prices.
The change is part of the government's broader GST plan passed in November 2022 to create a staggered rise in the tax, which officials say is needed to refill COVID-hit coffers. GST increased from 7 to 8% this year and will rise to 9% starting on January 1. So how much will it affect consumers?
With the expenses increasing and you keep going higher and higher, it gets quite tough for people.
Oh, I think we will struggle more. It will probably have a huge impact on Singapore, in economy ways.
Despite concerns for the hip pocket for some, Singapore's Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong has said that deferring the GST hike will only, quote, store up more problems.
But rather than do it across the board, which may inadvertently fuel additional demand and make things worse, we are targeting the lower and middle income groups to some extent. And so for low income Singaporeans and households, the message is the support measures that we provide to them this year will be enough to cover the increase in spending that they face due to inflation and the GST rate increase entirely.
Core inflation, which strips out the volatile fuel and accommodation costs, dropping from 5.5% in January to 3.2% in November. But it's expected to temporarily rise in the first half of next year due to the GST hike, according to the central bank. Meanwhile, major supermarket chain FairPrice says that it will absorb the 1% increase on 500 essential items for the first 6 months of next year. Sensation says that it will also roll out a 3-month discount on most of its items to offset the rise. And IKEA says that it will not implement the tax increase on its products in 2024. But let's take a plate of chicken rice at Katong Mei Wei in Singapore's east. Prices have risen at both its outlets due to input costs, and from next year, one might need to shell out more to enjoy this local delicacy.
We do know that a lot of customers might complain about that, and we really did our best to see what kind of things that we can do. Some items we didn't increase at all, or some we increased to make a balance between all the prices in our menu.
Singapore, one of the priciest cities to live in the world, set to get a little pricier.